The Walking Dead's a different show in season 7. It really is. If you look at just the previous episodes from other seasons, it's got a completely different tone, a completely different character set, and it's actually a slower progression than a lot of the previous seasons. But is that a good thing? Really, that's up to the viewer to determine. And while I've liked it, all this world building, I'm ready for the plot to go along. And Sing Me a Song did that in a lot of ways, but in other ways, it still remained to be a slower type of episode that really irritated me. So, season 7, episode 7 of The Walking Dead, Sing Me a Song, starts out, and Carl and Jesus are in the truck, and Carl stays in the truck while Jesus bails, and Carl basically unloads on some saviors hoping to kill Negan, and Negan takes him under his wing, shows him the operation and everything, and Negan even admits in this episode that he's actually afraid of Carl, which is something that we had suspected as fans for a long time, because Carl really grew up in this apocalypse. It's molded him unlike, the kids who were born maybe after or before the apocalypse would have been, that grew up in the normal world for a bit. Carl had none of that. Carl's world is the apocalypse. So Carl is the epitome of a guy who doesn't care. And so we really see this expressed in this episode when he just unloads on a few saviors. And Negan appreciates that. And really, Negan takes him under his wing. So I can't wait to see where that relationship goes. And as much as I've complained about Negan talking this season too much, which he may do a little bit in this episode, it was pleasant to see him in Carl's dynamic, of course. How he appreciates Carl and how Carl appreciates him. But my idea of what's going to happen, I believe that Carl is going to trick Negan into this false sense of, hey, I like working for you, and eventually betray him. Of course you can still tell that Carl hates Negan, but at the same time, I think Negan's going to learn to trust Carl, because this was almost like a recruitment tour. He wanted Carl to join his side. And he really tried to get personal with Carl by doing the games with him. But probably Negan is cemented the most in this episode whenever he's holding Judith on the porch. It's just this very creepy scene, and it shows that Negan really is in control of everything. And the dynamic between them was great, but I will say that plot line sort of overtook the episode in a lot of ways I didn't like, because the other plot lines were so great. Now, I haven't liked Spencer as a character this season. He's just been that whiny guy. But it was nice to see him and Father Gabriel sort of have that talk, and Father Gabriel to call him out for just being, a terrible person for just keeping to insult Rick. It's not like Rick wanted all this to happen. It's just Rick made a mistake, and Spencer thinks he could do better. But as we all know, Spencer's a wimp, and he's a newbie to the apocalypse. But so it's cool to see Father Gabriel call him out. And Gabriel's become much more of a good character, I believe. Just in the few episodes we've seen him this episode, he has, grown a lot as a character, and it was interesting to see him. Of course, it was terrible to see Daryl in captivity still. You could see the look in Daryl's eyes. He's going to break, and Negan even pointed that out. But we also got to see Jesus basically give him a key to help him break out, or we assume it's Jesus. So it's nice that plot line's finally going to get moving forward. We saw Erin and Rick go out and try to find supplies for Negan. We saw them finding this place with all these weapons and such that they're going to have to get to. And I'm hoping that after they get all these weapons that Rick, finally grows a pair and says, okay, now we can take out Negan. But that plotline will be interesting to explore. And the whole Michonne plotline, though, I didn't like it at all. It seemed sort of forced. I thought she was just going to rob the person for their weapons. But, it seems sort of cliche that she wanted to go to Negan's compound, honestly. But that being said, there's a lot of moving parts to this episode, and the plot moved forward, and that's what I had wanted for weeks. But I haven't liked this season of The Walking Dead comparatively to the other seasons. It's still been great, but it hasn't been the best. But Sing Me a Song really didn't need to be a longer episode. I think they should have just condensed the plot a little bit more. I feel like they're using the longer episodes as a crutch this season. So it was nice seeing multiple characters on screen. There was a little bit of action with Carl. There wasn't enough Walker violence, which is something I've criticized this season for again and again. But it did tease a lot to come. But Sing Me a Song was probably the best episode of Season 7 so far, just as far as writing. So I'd have to give it let's give it an 8.2 out of 10. I know I've given previous episodes higher scores, and I probably shouldn't have, but Season 7 has not been perfect. But Sing Me a Song was a step in the right direction. So I have to give it about an 8.2 out of 10. I hope you've enjoyed my review for Sing Me a Song, Season 7, Episode 7, The Walking Dead. Like and comment below what you think of the episode and if you think the writers are taking the show in the right direction. Remember to like and subscribe for more content. This has been Jonesy from Joneser TV signing off.